No Jumper built a $10 million empire by giving street rappers a platform. But there's a pattern nobody can ignore. The hosts keep ending up in prison. Bricc Baby got named in a federal wiretap case. Crip Mac went from jail to federal prison to another interview. Jefe got booked on felony murder. MoneySign Suede was killed behind bars. The No Jumper curse started as a meme, but when federal prosecutors explicitly said podcasts were used to create fame and stoke fear, it stopped being funny. Here's how No Jumper turned prison into content, and why the content kept turning into prison. Bricc Baby. Bricc Baby is the cleanest proof that the curse isn't just a fan theory anymore. It's an actual federal paperwork. His entire No Jumper origin story was sold through prison. The interview that introduced him to the platform was literally titled The Bricc Baby Interview. 4 years in LA County Jail, rolling 60s, starting MPA, and more. That's the pitch. Jail time equals authenticity. Gang background equals story engine. Music equals the come up. Another sit down on Vlad TV centered him going to prison for gun at YG video shoot and drugs on the plane. No Jumper didn't create that narrative, but it absolutely packaged it, promoted it, and made Bricc Baby a recognizable face by leaning into the parts of his life that were always going to keep him legally exposed.
For the YG video shoot, I got caught with a pistol at the YG Meek Mill video shoot. I'm a thug.
Then in 2025, the story went federal. The DOJ announced a 43-count indictment against Eugene Big U Henley, and the underlying complaint revealed that federal judges had authorized Title III wiretaps on phones used by several people, including Zahir Mitchell, aka Bricc Baby. The same complaint alleged that the enterprise used social media platforms, documentaries, podcasts, and interviews to create fame for and stoke fear of the people involved. One of the intercepted conversations tied to Mitchell's moniker included a wiretap quote about a robbery plan. Bricc Baby said it was posed to be between 5 to 7. That's not a conviction, and Bricc Baby hasn't been sentenced, but it's the strongest documented overlap between No Jumper style visibility and active federal surveillance. The platform that made him a host by promoting his jail backstory is now watching that same backstory show up in a government wiretap case. What makes this different from a regular rapper got arrested story is the prosecutor's language. The complaint didn't just say the defendants committed crimes. It said they use media to amplify their image and generate fear. That's not about songs, that's about the ecosystem No Jumper helped create, where the line between entertainment and evidence keeps disappearing. Bricc Baby's case is the moment the curse stopped being about bad luck and started looking like a business model with legal consequences. Crip Mac. If Bricc Baby is the legal proof, Crip Mac is the content proof. No other figure in the No Jumper universe better illustrates how the platform turns incarceration into seasons. In June 2021, No Jumper uploaded Crip Mac's first interview home from jail. By early 2026, it uploaded Crip Mac's first interview out of prison. Between those two timestamps, the entire cycle played out on camera. Viral rise, federal case, guilty plea, sentencing, release, and then right back into the content loop.
Federal jail.
Federal jail.
Holdovers in jail, it's just a lot different because you meet a lot of different from different places with different backgrounds.
Yeah. And so what was it like? Was there a lot of fades or was it kind of low key?
I had a couple clout chasing fades. That's about it. But it was nothing like serious like that. A lot of was most so happy to see me.
Yeah.
Especially named Crip and Mac on Crip time in the federal prison. It means a lot.
The legal story is straightforward. Billboard reported that U.S. Marshals arrested Crip Mac in December 2023, right after a county judge dropped state gun charges so the federal case could move forward. He later pleaded guilty to being a felon in possession of ammunition and received 2 years and 9 months in federal prison in August 2024. The prosecution's case was ugly but simple. Authorities said he had a ghost gun and ammunition despite prior felony convictions. One pretrial report even quoted the judge at his detention hearing, noting that his record already involved firearms, and the new case centered on ammunition found inside a semi-automatic ghost gun. For No Jumper though, Crip Mac wasn't a defendant. He was a character arc. Every stage of his legal trouble became programming. First, he was the viral street personality saying unhinged things on camera. Then he went to jail, and the platform covered his absence. Then he came home, and that became content. Then the feds picked him up, and his case became a news cycle. Then he got sentenced, and the countdown to release became speculation material. Then he got out, and No Jumper immediately brought him back for the first interview out of prison episode, which functioned like a season finale where the fan favorite character returns. That's the No Jumper formula in its purest form. Incarceration isn't a career ender, it's a plot device. Crip Mac didn't just get arrested after becoming famous on No Jumper. He became more famous because No Jumper kept documenting every step of the cycle. And now he's back in the content ecosystem, still the same person with the same legal vulnerabilities, which means the cycle probably isn't over. MoneySign Suede. MoneySign Suede is the darkest entry on this list because the story doesn't end with release. It ends with a prison homicide. No Jumper's own episode description from June 2022 framed his interview around legal instability. It said he had got locked up for a year for a carjacking, was still on parole, and had been arrested again because authorities found something on him. Less than a year after that interview, the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation announced that Jaime Brugada, known as MoneySign Suede, had been found unresponsive with injuries, consistent with a homicide, at the Correctional Training Facility in Soledad. He had begun serving a 32-month sentence on gun charges in January 2023.
Tonight, Jaime Valdez, known as rapper MoneySign Suede, killed while being held at the State Correctional Training Facility in Soledad.
The details are brutal. The Los Angeles Times reported that his attorney said he was stabbed to death in a shower area. The attorney's remarks captured the shock. People are very shocked, and Suede was described as very popular and very mild-mannered. This is one of the few no-jumper adjacent cases where the cursed rhetoric isn't just about consequences. It's about incarceration as a fatal endpoint. MoneySign Suede sat down with No Jumper while openly discussing carjacking cases and parole violations. The platform promoted that vulnerability as content, and less than a year later he was dead in a California prison. The interview didn't cause his death, but it's hard to ignore that No Jumper kept building episodes around people whose legal exposure was already extreme. Almighty Suspect. Almighty Suspect is the most inside example on this list. He wasn't a guest, he wasn't an affiliate, he wasn't someone who came up through the scene and got a platform when his buzz was high enough. He was an actual No Jumper host, someone who sat in that chair regularly and was part of the infrastructure of the brand itself. That distinction matters because it makes the question harder to deflect. You can't frame this as No Jumper just covering what's happening in the streets. This is someone from inside the building. In 2025, he was arrested on felony charges and held on $380,000 bail. That number alone tells you the severity. The arrest was well documented across No Jumper's own coverage, commentary channels, and the broader ecosystem of pages that treat every legal development as appointment content. The sentencing details are where sourcing gets murkier. The specific numbers circulated primarily through ecosystem pages and his own self-reported clips rather than major independent outlets. That doesn't make them wrong, it just means the No Jumper world was, once again, the primary place where the story lived. What isn't murky is the timeline. He's been sentenced, commentary channels have been running send-off content, and as of tomorrow, May 28, 2026, he's scheduled to turn himself in. The arrest got covered, the bail got covered, the surrender is being covered in real time the night before it happens. This time it isn't a guest or an artist who came through once. This time it's someone who was part of the show itself. 03 Greedo. 03 Greedo is one of the clearest examples of No Jumper helping make a rapper feel inevitable right before prison cuts the runway short. No Jumper's early interview with him sits near the moment when he was emerging as one of the most exciting West Coast voices. And then, the legal reality landed hard. Pitchfork reported that Greedo received a 20-year prison sentence in Texas after a case involving meth and gun possession, and later confirmed he was released on parole in January 2023 after serving roughly 5 years. The Washington Post summarized the original arrest as a 2016 traffic stop case involving 4 pounds of methamphetamine and 2 stolen pistols, with Greedo taking a plea that was far shorter than the potential exposure he faced at trial. For story value, Greedo gives this pattern a bigger theme than just bad decisions. His prison arc became part of his legend. He kept releasing music from inside, and when he spoke to Billboard and The Fader before going in, the most reusable quote was blunt. He's the case that proves the No Jumper curse isn't only about hosts getting arrested after a podcast run, it's also about the platform's talent radar, constantly colliding with rappers who are already one case away from disappearing. No Jumper didn't cause Greedo's Texas case, but it absolutely centered him at the exact moment when his trajectory and his legal exposure were on a collision course. When he came home in 2023, No Jumper brought him back for another interview, and the cycle started over. Tay-K. Tay-K is one of the strongest conceptual examples because No Jumper wasn't just interviewing him. No Jumper Records released Hard with Tay-K and Blockboy JB while Tay-K was already incarcerated. No Jumper also did a prison phone interview with him, and then Adam22 later admitted that the interview got Tay-K busted inside and sent to solitary confinement.
And so then he gets in solitary, all kinds of whatever additional charges because he had an iPad and he's just in jail using the iPad.
Adam's own explanation was that it didn't really register to me that he had just said that, which is a remarkably clean admission for a documentary about how prison-related content can backfire on everyone involved. Legally, Tay-K is not a maybe.
Like, it didn't really register to me that he had just said that, doing this like awkward jail phone interview, you know?
Pitchfork reported his 55-year sentence in the Ethan Walker case, and AP reported that in April 2025, he was convicted of murder for a second time in the killing of photographer Mark Anthony Saldivar, while already serving that earlier sentence. In one figure, Tay-K shows the most extreme version of the No Jumper dynamic, a rapper whose fugitive-era notoriety, prison mythology, label tie-in, and jail call content all fused into one cautionary tale. No Jumper signed him to the label, promoted his music while he was locked up, conducted a prison interview that got him punished, and then kept using his story as content even after the consequences became undeniable. Tay-K isn't serving 55 years because of a podcast, but the platform absolutely profited from every stage of his legal collapse. Blueface is not a host, but he's too central to No Jumper's content ecosystem to ignore. No Jumper even ran an exclusive jail interview with Gina Views while he was incarcerated, turning his custody into programming the same way it did with everyone else. The legal timeline is easy to track. The LA Times reported that after the 2022 Las Vegas shooting case, a judge sentenced him to probation in October 2023 and warned, if you get back here on any probation violation, especially anything involving a weapon, I will not hesitate to put you in prison for a significant period of time. By August 2024, Fox LA and XXL were reporting that Blueface had in fact been sentenced to 4 years in prison for violating probation tied to his 2021 North Hollywood assault case. Later coverage said he was released in late 2025. Blueface matters for this pattern because he shows the No Jumper curse operating at mainstream scale. You're no longer in obscure street podcast territory. You're in platinum record, tabloid level fame, and even there, prison still became part of the content cycle. Court updates, jail interviews, relationship chaos, release speculation, then post-prison discourse. The platform didn't create his criminal cases, but it absolutely monetized the continuity of them. Blueface's legal troubles existed independent of No Jumper, but No Jumper made sure every stage of those troubles turned into an episode, a clip, or a news cycle that fed back into the platform's relevance. China Mac. China Mac is not a host in the traditional sense, but he matters because No Jumper repeatedly leveraged his prison biography as a content asset. The No Jumper interview description says he had been rapping since he was incarcerated in 2003, and another No Jumper clip flatly advertises him explaining how he almost got life in prison. He was also visible enough in the No Jumper orbit to appear on the No Jumper show number 200 with Crip Mac, which shows how the platform treated prison story personalities as recurring panel furniture. China Mac's prison history predates No Jumper by years, so this isn't a case where the platform created his legal problems. What he proves is that No Jumper's casting instinct was often to recruit or recycle men whose prison survival story already functioned as brand equity. His value to the platform wasn't just that he could rap or had opinions, it was that he had done serious time and lived to narrate it. No Jumper didn't turn him into a convict, but it absolutely turned his conviction into content. He's the clearest example of how the platform operates. Find someone whose credibility is inseparable from incarceration. Book them repeatedly and let the audience know that this person's authenticity comes from surviving what most people only rap about. Jefe. Jefe is the freshest example and the one that made the curse feel current instead of historical. Complex and E! News reported that Maurice Shellman, aka Jefe, a No Jumper co-host, was booked by LAPD's Robbery Homicide Division on felony murder and held on $1 million bail in May 2026. TMZ added Adam22's reaction, calling the news a huge shock. Because the case is so new, the available coverage doesn't spell out Aunt Jeffe's alleged exact role in the underlying event, and he's presumed innocent. But the charge alone, felony murder, is severe enough to immediately reignite every meme, every joke, and every pattern observation about No Jumper hosts and prison. What makes this case powerful isn't just the severity of the charge, it's the timing. By May 2026, No Jumper was already coming off the optics disaster of Bricc Baby's federal case, Crip Mac's prison cycle, and Adam publicly downsizing the company after saying, No Jumper is going broke.
We expanded too much during COVID at just about the exact moment that our revenue streams all took a hit.
And Jefe's booking made the curse feel like a live scandal instead of a retrospective trend piece. This is the moment where the documentary stops being about the past and becomes about the present. A co-host with an active murder case, held on $1 million bail, while the platform that gave him visibility tries to figure out how to respond. Charge is not convicted, but the arrest alone confirms that the pattern isn't slowing down. Lefty Gunplay. Lefty Gunplay is useful because prison isn't rumor in his story, it's the entire frame. No Jumper's own episode title is Lefty Gunplay on shooting up a party, prison sentence, blowing up off rapping them more. Vibe reported that he came home in late 2023 after serving more than 9 years on a gun case, and Pitchfork's review of Can't Get Right says he was finishing 9 years of an original 13-year sentence after shooting up a house party, then ending up in Pelican Bay after stabbing an inmate. Local Texas television later reported his February 2025 arrest in El Paso on drug-related charges. Lefty is strong because he has built-in redemption versus relapse tension. Kendrick Lamar's cosign and the GNX-era West Coast spotlight made him look like a comeback story, but the legal instability instability never fully disappeared. He works as he just got out and still couldn't escape the orbit example. No Jumper platformed him by centering his prison story. He caught another case shortly after getting visibility. And now the cycle is running again. It's the same formula. Incarceration as credibility. Release as content. New trouble as the next chapter. EBK Jaibo. EBK Jaibo fits the No Jumper curse in a newer, more news cycle-driven way. No Jumper itself did the NJ show. Number 321, EBK Jaibo arrested after high-speed chase with drugs and guns, while separate reporting showed he was cycling through custody again and again. POW magazine's jailhouse interview described speaking to him from San Joaquin County Jail after he went back down for illegal firearm possession by a felon.
Slipped up, you feel me? Nah, nigga, gotta tighten up. Nigga gotta tighten it up and don't get put in that situation again.
XXL and local TV later reported another 2025 Arkansas arrests involving drugs, a prohibited weapon, and theft. XXL also said he had only recently been released after spending a year behind bars for illegal firearm possession. Jaibo is useful because he makes the curse feel contemporary rather than nostalgic. He belongs in the section about younger West Coast street rappers, hitting visibility milestones while still living in revolving door legal conditions. He's not core enough to lead the video, but he's very good for pattern proof. Another name, another case, another cycle, all documented and promoted by the same platform. The No Jumper curse isn't magic, it's selection, amplification, and content risk all running at the same time. The platform built a $10 million empire by centering people whose credibility came from looking dangerously real. And the more successful that formula became, the more often prison stopped being backstory and became plot. Bricc Baby's name showed up in a federal wiretap. Crip Mac went from jail to prison to another interview. MoneySign Suede was killed behind bars. Tay-K is serving 55 years. And Jefe got booked on felony murder. The pattern isn't slowing down because the business model never changed. No Jumper kept hiring people whose public value was tied to the same things that make you legally vulnerable. And when federal prosecutors explicitly said podcasts were used to create fame and stoke fear, the curse stopped being a meme and started showing up in legal paperwork. Drop a comment and let me know which case on this list shocked you the most. And if you want more breakdowns like this, subscribe. See you in the next one.